Freedom 35, 5, 5, 5.
Dude, start the podcast.
Wow.
We recording, Gordon?
Gordon's recording.
All right, guys. Welcome back to Freedom 35ers, Cardano NFT podcast, episode 61, technically episode 62 for all the OGs out there. My name is Tommy. I go by TLWMY.
My name is TJ. I go by Lazy T.
And I am the other Tom. I go by Lavish Bear.
Tonight, Tiny Tom.
Did you have to throw in
I didn't have to put that
the finger height in there?
Is it finger? What? All right. No, we're going to blow past that.
Use your fingers for your height.
Tiny Tom. We got the Christmas theme going on right now.
Actually, yeah, that's what my they used to call my dad Tiny Tim, because he's like, he's a little guy. He's like 5'7", 5'8".
Is his name Tim?
So yeah, his name's Tim.
You're Tim and Tom?
We had my grandpa's Tom also. We went Tom, Tim, Tom.
You're triple T's.
Mm-hmm.
That was meant to be. I like it. TJ today, Lloyd Christmas. What are we referencing tonight?
Let the viewers out there guess it.
He's got worms.
He's got worms. Yeah.
All right. I'm totally lost right now.
He was way off.
I'm way off right now. Well, ho 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 to Gordon and Merry Tomas out here to everybody. This is every time we had Christmas, like in the years past, like Tom's always put like Merry Thomas, or for like your birthday or something like that.
Because like Christ's birthday is Christmas, Tom's birthday is Thomas.
I like how Tommy said years past when it's only been 1 year past.
Oh, he means for me saying that for birthday.
Or like just in general.
Yeah.
That's not for the podcast years past.
Yeah, TJ's birthday is TJ Moss.
TJ Moss.
Live
Moss.
Yeah, Live Moss. T Moss. No, dude. Back Christmas time right now. We got the theme going right now.
It's Hanukkah time too. Shout out to Hanukkah people as well.
Dude. I was gonna say we don't have the menorah, but we got Santa up there, so that works. We got some wreaths. We got an Ada moon, some lights. Yeah, next year will be. I guess we're not all inclusive out here for the holiday season, but whatever holiday you celebrate, we're rocking ours over here. TJ put the Santa hat. And Tom, I missed the memo tonight.
No, he didn't. He got the memo 3 days ago, and he said he didn't go and get it.
You can't call me out.
I'm sorry. No, he missed the memo a year ago when he didn't have Santa hat on.
Yeah,
that's fair. I'm just keeping true to the theme, dude.
I like it. Now I can do the thumbnell correct. We have like the balance.
Yeah, you can add it a thumbnail.
I'll put one in post. I'll throw it in post.
Yeah, Gordon.
We got the new PC set up. Yeah,
put a dead pixel on his head.
We do have the new PCs up and running here. Mm-hmm. We're running a little bit smoother tonight. Tom's all ready to go. Mine's officially up and running. We tested it through 2 live streams now, or I've tested it through 2 live streams. But man, it feels so nice right now to not have to worry about like screen share, to not have to worry about rugging.
What are you telling? I get to actually sit back and relax and ask decent questions now.
I'm not gonna lie that I forgot how hard that was to multitask. Of like,
it's a pain in the ass,
dude. It's so like, hey,
and then you got a Tommy in my ear and texted me on the side, hey, pull this up next, pull that up next.
Do this. Hey, yeah. Hey, man, hey.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the harder part, is that like you're trying to live stream, and then like Tommy's usually like kind of talking through like that topic, so you're trying to have to kind of follow along like
well, then I was getting sidetracked too.
Like you're just doing the visual side, because it's different when you're doing it yourself and talking. Yeah, because you can you're like showing something specific, and then you're talking along. You're like searching for what he's talking about, TJ, like in like a white paper or something as he's saying it. So it's like trying to do that coordination thing.
It was more so too. I was reading ahead faster than he was reading, so I was like, I would be scrolling like I'm reading ahead of him. So he's like, go back up a little more. Go back up a little.
This is an old throwback. You remember back in like Whose Line Is It Anyway, when they would bring in like someone from the audience?
Oh yeah,
and they'd hold their arms behind their back, and then they would like be there.
Yes,
for them. That's
what classic.
Like Tommy's doing the talking, and then TJ's in there like as the hands.
That'd be a great segment right there, where you only get to do one, and I can communicate what you want. TJ just has to go off that and see if it works.
We did that every Monday until last week.
That's true. We did a live action.
We've been doing that.
Don't expose the secrets, dude. I was trying to think of what. All right, we're back. Another week, another podcast. The last podcast of the year over here. We are taking next week off for a little podcast planning, maybe. Or I was gonna do a jingle bell. I didn't have a jingle bell though.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the jingle bell.
Tom, put that in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'll find a bell. Yeah,
no, we won't. Dude, last episode of the year for 2022. Crazy to think that we've already been a year. We've done a full year now. I know we had a few episodes. What was it, like 10 episodes last year that we got to before the end of the year. So now we've officially done one full cycle. We've made it consistent every single week outside of the last week that we took off last year, which I'm really surprised about the consistency we had this year. Like, not gonna lie, TJ had a kid this year. Like, took some time off. Went to Vegas.
Yeah, went to Vegas. Yeah,
had a kid this year. You didn't know about
few
that.
Kids.
You know?
Yeah,
two
Tom
kids.
had a bunch
Married
of kids.
Twice.
Yeah,
divorced 3 times.
Lots happened, man. But yeah, dude. So last episode for the year. Kind of this is going to be more like a reflective kind of look back at 2022 and what we're kind of looking forward to in 23.
There
Kind of
goes
share
the
some of the
viewers.
memories.
They just hit the exit button. Good job, Tommy. We retained them for a good 9 minutes. There to go.
Or they're probably clicked the timestamp already and they're already past all that. They saw top projects, they saw upcoming stuff, trends, all that stuff. They're like, I don't care about the intro.
Yeah,
we're gonna move past this. Or we timestamp it right here, so everybody jumps right to this timestamp. All right, what are we talking about?
Nothing.
But no, fair enough. No, so beginning of the year, I guess actually let's recap. Let's stay true to our podcast fashion.
Early in the year, we got a good project coming up that we just talked to on
Monday,
pretty recently. Yeah,
Monday, yeah,
on Monday. Look at
that was Goombles, Farmer Nash. That was a dope interview we had. Our interview live stream we had with him.
Disappointed he didn't have a farmer's hat. I mean,
big opportunity missed over there, right?
Honestly, we were disappointed we didn't wear the Santa hats that night because we talked about it that day. We're like, shit, we forgot to wear the hats.
We should have came with like a big piece of like wheat sticking out of our mouth.
Oh, that would have been
better
great.
with the overalls.
Yeah, exactly.
No shirt in a can, rocking chair,
just one side done.
God, Farmer Fran style.
Yeah.
Just up there. No, yeah, no. Shout out to Farmer Nash for jumping onto the stream. We got a chance to dive deep. We got a lot of alpha on that stream for Goombles.
Dude, fat alpha.
Yeah, big fat alpha. I saw there was a comment on Twitter. Somebody's like, "Yo, Farmer Nash, you got way too comfortable with 35ers. Dropped way too much alpha on that stream."
Comfortable with hashtag comfortable with the boy. That was cool.
That was funny. Yeah, we learned that Goombles had a 10,000 supply. They're dropping in 2 different phases of 5,000. For the mint price, it's between $40 and $80 in USD, whatever the price of 8 is at that time, and it's dropping in Q1 of 23. Put your notifications on early on in January. But yeah, no, it was really dope to have him on. And like I said, it was very like listening back to it. Tom, I think you were mentioning that of just how well like spoken and it just how like he was good, a great talker. It was a good interview.
Professional. Comes in like a pro. Yeah, he's ready to perform for sure.
Yeah, no, fit right in. You know, it loosened up a little bit with us as we got into the stream a little bit. So that was fun. I loved he wants some merch where he can flex on the broke boys outside of Target. That was one thing I remember listening back to. That's funny. But no, it was cool to learn more about what Goombles is, especially on the NFT gaming side of things. Because I guess right now, I mean, there's a select few games that are out there which we're fans of. But this is going the tower defense route, more indie game style, he said, and something that they're not trying to like overpromise something crazy. They know what they are, and they're going to stick to that, that goal. To what they've been building now. So it's the project they've been doing for at least, I think he said 10 months in the making out there, or maybe now 11 with, I don't know.
I just like that so far, like the games have the most recent games we've kind of been talking with and seen kind of make some big steps moving forward have had a similar sentiment where they are interested in making a game that's fun to play and succeeds because it's a good game, not because like, hey, this is an easy way to like farm tokens that are worth money that you can actually sell, and everyone's just in here grinding all day to make like actual transfer to cash or to crypto, where their main goal first off is to just make a very good game,
fun game,
be successful because the game's fucking good, which I love. Don't make some other like weird gimmick or some other like, oh, you can like trade in these fake tokens for this and then make like cash from it if you grind 45 hours a week.
I like he was honest about like merch too, because I think someone in the chat asked about merch and whatnot. He basically was saying his sentiment of that is like, why would I sell merch for when I haven't even done anything yet? Like there's no reason for me to come out with merch just to come out with merch. I haven't proven anything. Tom, you made a great point too. Like I want to showcase this merch because I like the game, not because I just want to rock it initially because of the project, but I want to rock it because I like the game of it. But I haven't even played the game yet, so why am I coming out with the merch?
Right.
So like how he was very honest and saying, I'm not going to come out with merch yet at all, or maybe even ever. Just I want to make the game come out. That's my that's I mean, eventually we probably will, but I'm saying is like that's not his main goal. His main goal is putting out the fun game. You know what I'm saying? That's his main.
We mentioned that plushie, and he was definitely like, no, I'm not saying anything. But yeah, no, there's definitely the brand appeal is there for Goombles, and since he's got a great big following over on Twitter, he's got a large audience over on the Ethereum side as well as the Cardano side. It seems like like you said, why would I launching over here was a strategic decision for his project, because over there he can get lost in the shuffle. Over here he has the potential to be one of the top projects, which is smart from a business sense.
Very smart, absolutely.
So we'll see if they can execute, though, but definitely keep an eye on Goombles. I know they're doing a bunch of different games. The Discord right now will be open here, he said, in about 2 weeks. And then he's pretty much going to get people to interact inside there to go ahead and play video games to essentially whitelist themselves.
I'm laughing because the Discord, Tommy and I, we were talking about it off the live stream. He put out a vote like if the community that was already in there wanted to open it up publicly, like a few weeks ago, or keep it closed. And obviously the vote was to keep it closed for a while. Yeah. And Tommy and I both admitted we voted to keep it closed. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. But we did drop 25 invite over there, courtesy of Nash. And a lot of people got in who were watching on stream, to shout out to them. And then the 3 people who won too, the actual whitelist spot. So just because you're in the Discord doesn't necessarily mean you got the whitelist. You have to like earn that. Yeah. In a sense, for being in there. So.
And they have fun ways to do that too with the games they have going on in there, or they have the meme contest as well, where you can get in to be at a whitelist if you're in the Discord.
Yeah, their emojis and their the actual like stickers and stuff like that are top tier over there. So shout out to Farmer Nash for jumping onto the stream. It was good to connect with him, and hopefully we'll get some gameplay going into 23 next year with him.
I'm pumped for that. I love Balloons Tower Defense. That was fun as shit. I played a lot of that, so I'm very excited if it has anything similar as far as the longevity and the fun factor of Balloons Tower Defense was, because I'll
like
play the shit out of that.
Classic Balloons is great.
Yep, classic Balloons is great too. Popping all of them, but the Tower Defense is cool too. It was problem solving
levels and stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, there's 2 different.
The other ones is more like brainless.
The other ones that you just gotta pop all.
I clickety button. Yeah, that's the whole game. So
the other one was a little different.
I clickety button.
Everything.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah, dude. So 2022, like year up, kind of like wrap up. I know when we started this year, I remember going back to our episode, I think it was episode 11 that started off the year. And it was CNFT Bull Run. That was like our title that we had seen.
Yikes.
And here we are in the bear market. Just harsh out there in the winter, dude. Shit's down to 25 cents right now.
We didn't say Cardano Bull Run, did we?
We said CNFT Bull Run.
NFT. NFT. That's what I'm saying, though. It wasn't necessarily related directly to the.
That's true.
The cryptocurrency. We had the fact that the NFTs were making still big runs. Yeah, and they were making some big runs, especially then. Like when we saw some new projects sell out real fast early on. It didn't quite make it to the end of the year here, but
I think catalyst.
Check. Can you hear me?
Check. I can hear you.
Check. Because it said my mic was changed, so I want to make sure. Yeah. Check.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a rough year as far as ADA goes and crypto in general, and it's not been the best year because of that for some NFTs. But man, we've seen some ones going some bull runs. I think, you know what I mean.
Well, to like start the year off, I think that bull run was really launched by the fact that we had a marketplace that was smart contract enabled, and people from the Ethereum and Solana side kind of made sense. They like, oh, this is how we do it over here. We can finally do that over on Cardano. And it was a big testament to JPEG Store, who essentially stole all market share away from CNFT.io.
God, do you remember that though? Like going to buy something, they just delisted and listed for the higher floor. Oh God, I forgot until you just said that.
Dude, what a crazy time that was. And that was all spread by the Chilled Kongs launch and also Boss Cat Rocket Club. Like people got in early in the beginning of the year on those 2 projects, and those projects took off, and people had made a lot of ADA who were in this space. And then shortly after that, the Age Society had minted like in early like February and like end of January, early February. And man, like things just started to really take off. So that's where you saw like a lot of that initial like hype go in, and the smart contract era started. And so it was crazy to see like the trends and things that were early on inside of 2022, and I feel like we've gone through like a roller coaster of them. throughout this year, and you know, all the buzzwords, the keywords. We were trying to like talk about it before we got on stream, like what they were to where they are now. And I think we kind of came back with the Metaverse was kind of the first big thing at the beginning of the year that everybody was promising. Pavia's third land sale was that about to happen, and everybody was all stoked for that, which that thing sold out instantly for their 100,000 thing. And then Metaverse was the big buzzword. You guys remember that time period, like how far, like how turned off we are now from Metaverse, and that we finally just took a look back at Pavia after they finally had something that we could do. It's crazy how quick that can change.
I wouldn't say we're like turned off by metaverses. It's just it's on pause right now for me personally. I think for you guys as well. It's just like, it's not going to be really fleshed out for a while. And I've said this for a few episodes now, where there's still time to get in on it. Like, I'm not FOMOing about it anymore, about being in any of the metaverses. And it's no shade to any of the projects. They're all great projects. They all have a great team about them. But I know it takes time to build these things out. That's all I'm saying. I know I have time to get in.
And unless you're able to kind of spread across each one, maybe guessing the correct one right now is, I mean, not maybe, it's impossible to guess which one's going to be it. Because when you see things like what Pavia just released and what you guys are running around doing, and then you see what you guys were able to do in cornucopias at CNFT Con, there's quite a few projects that have done some impressive first looks, early, like, very early development looks. That is hard to base still, like, where are they going to be at in 4 years? Which one's going to be the one that's easiest or most accessible? Or whatever the case may be that ends up making it popular. I mean, how many did we see come out as far as land sales this year? Land sales.
Oh, tons.
We had the clay one finally come out. We had Ape Societies come out. We had
even Metadams that come out.
I was gonna say the Beavas.
The Beavs.
Yeah, the Beavas. We had the
Cardano lands.
Cardano lands.
There was Earth. Cardano Village early back on. Remember with the little like Squid Games, Charles Hoskinson things.
Yep.
There was the Moon Artifact thing, that
Unbothered Earth one that I got in that you guys didn't do.
Wow, there were so many of the land sales. Boss Planet out there.
Planet was a huge one. So exactly, just the amount that we saw come out that are all technically competing, because they can't, you can maybe play two, but they're meant to be this all-encompassing kind of thing. So it's not like you can't, unless you're just investing. If you actually want to be involved in play, you're gonna have to like dedicate. You can't play WoW and RuneScape like full-time both. You can play both, but one's gonna get the priority. That's kind of how I feel about the metaverse stuff, where you kind of got to sink into one. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah. For me, like the metaverse thing now, it's cool. Like, again, seeing like Pavia gameplay finally like being realized within a year. We actually got a chance to step foot in that. We actually reviewed that, and it was fun for what it was, and we can definitely see the potential. So excited to see where that gets expanded into going into next year. But it's encouraging the fact that it was actually something fun and interesting to do over there. So the metaverse thing, I know we mentioned Metadams as well. They just released some video trailers with Goombles, but I feel like that's one you guys probably want to keep an eye on too, as far as the metaverse stuff goes. And you're going to see a lot of those start to go online. I can imagine Boss Planet will be another one that I know people have been building a lot for too. So some of those are going to come online, and again, I think people's expectations are either going to be met, or they're going to be blown away, or absolutely just shattered. I don't know which one it's going to be, but I'm hopefully it's something where a little bit of the middle of yes, this was successful.
I will just say, at least I think maybe it's easier for us to be a little more open-minded too, because we're gamers, deep down, that I think we're a little more, up to the realization that this is a pre-alpha thing. It's meant to be tested and stress tested on their servers to see what they're capable of doing in just a small increments and for a small time slot. It's not meant to be like played the way it's supposed to be played. Like, this is a pre-alpha. You're just testing it out. Like, don't think you're going to be like doing all these things in there and to get disappointed. No, it's just a pre-alpha. That's all it is for all of them that's coming out.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think is it going to be fun?
Right.
I definitely think there's a huge untapped potential there that's going to be more and more realized as the technology gets better, as the dApps get better, as more people get adopted into crypto. And then as more retailers and like big brands start to understand what it really is and the potential that inside of it. When you've already seen big stuff like was it Samsung and a bunch of other big companies over in Decentraland or Sandbox? It was one of the two of them that they were in. Snoop Dogg, all those guys. So there's definitely digital marketing in that third, like, that universe over there is going to be a thing. It's just a matter of like how quick will it catch on. But now if you're building in early, especially business wise, if you plan to be like a digital brand online, like having some sort of like footprint in each one of those with the potential for those things to take off is definitely a great on the business decision side of things for anybody, especially if they're building something that's relevant, because the advertising is unlike anything we've ever experienced.
Yeah,
you can reach a global audience.
We saw even like J Crypto had a thing in there. What was his name? Nito.
Yeah, Nito and J Crypto. Yeah.
Yeah, they had their own little, poster or billboard. I forget what it was in there, but they had advertisement essentially within even that pre-alpha. So that, those are all the potentials of these metaverses for all of them.
Yeah, so it's definitely, I think people got tired of the land sales, but now I think, the ones that are out, they've been building, and hopefully they'll be able to execute Clay Nation, like you said, the pitches and stuff like that. That's going to be another big one, I think, going into this year. So definitely dope to see that. I think the next transition on those trends was definitely the DAO early on in the beginning of the year. Everybody was creating a DAO. One of the main popular ones that I definitely was part of for a bit was the Rats DAO.
We talked about them for 2 or 3 episodes. I mean, you got pretty excited about them early on. I mean, especially initially, if you would have just gotten in when you two got in, purely as a flip, and that was
it worked out well.
Those were good. It was a little hard. It's hard to say now though. How much have you followed up on at least the Rats one, where they're at now, like what they're doing? It's hard because you're not in it, and that's kind of the whole point. You got to be in to kind of get.
You definitely got to be in it.
Like the same as projects, they definitely have information available because they want people to buy in, but. I never jumped in any of those. I missed out at least on the flips like you two did. But that was definitely an interesting time too, because it became this like, it almost seemed like there wasn't a lot of hot mints during that period. Like it was a starter, kind of like the downtrend, I would say, if I'm remembering correctly, like the timeline, because everyone then got real hot on DAOs. It wasn't like projects. It was like, let me buy this DAO that's going to buy other projects that have already come out or something.
Yeah.
It got really interesting.
It got people excited because I think a lot of us I didn't even understand really what DAOs were at the time, which DAO stands for, I think if I remember right, Decentralized Autonomous Organization.
That sounds right, yeah.
So a word I knew before the word DAO out there. So yeah, but I do remember early on with Rats DAO specifically where they bought up a bunch of Clays,
Dead Pixels. I remember that.
Clays, Dead Pixels, and there was one other top one, and maybe it was Space Buds. I think it was.
I think it was
like
Space
the top,
Buds,
like the top 3 projects, and eventually they started to branch out. But they got a bunch of airdrops, and the thought was that as a DAO, they could reap the rewards, and then later disperse those funds throughout, the organization.
Thinking about that, do they still have all of those purchases?
They do.
That's crazy.
I know. I don't know to the specifics of what they have and haven't sold, but I know they got airdropped a bunch of the Clay pitches early on. So. But yeah, the concept of a DAO was definitely something early on in the year too that people were excited about, and it was an easy buzzword. Hey, we're going to create a DAO. We're going to do, be part of this organization that's going to make profits. And most of those DAOs weren't necessarily DAOs at that time because nothing was necessarily decentralized. It was still centralized to the main people running like the project or the main wallet, because that smart contracts platform hadn't really been integrated yet at that time. So it was still something in the works. Another big one that stood out that marketed that way was the Ape Society, or Ada Apes Society early on before the name change.
I forgot they were Ada Apes, yeah.
Well, the DAO was part of that, where they decided on that to change the name to what we know now as the Ape Society. So that was a cool example of what a DAO can do outside of just being an investment portion of that as well.
And even the quote unquote rebranding of that project obviously did well too for them.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, obviously we see where Ape Society is sitting now at like a 10, almost 11,000 floor, which is absolutely insane.
Chump change.
Yeah, so that was a big buzzword early on, and I think there's still a lot more to that. A lot of people now, that's part of the utility, right? You're part of a DAO. You have governance inside the project and can vote on certain things, and inside to be part of the future decisions, potentially also profits. Inside of projects. So that was definitely one of the ones early on. Of course, we had to talk about games as the trend started to evolve in the year. Like, we got a game coming out. To this day, I think we were just talking with Goombles. I mean, there's maybe a handful of them that are playable, and maybe just a few that are actually like replayability wise fun to do. What do you guys think? I mean, we want to get NFT gaming. I feel like we're on the cusp of it with a few different projects right now. But there really wasn't much this year that got released where it was really like eye-catching of like, holy shit, this is dope as hell. Like a lot of people, it was in the works. They're still infancy stage.
Like the big one for me would be that Ada Ninjas like little preview they kind of dropped.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, early on,
yeah. Where it's like that's very cool. Like, but like let's get some like let me get my hands on it a little more.
Yeah,
it's like
I mean, even like for me personally, like all the games that we've talked about and played, they seem cool. And actually, the one most recent that I've actually got to play is Wolves of Rome. That was it is a very fun game.
Right.
I think even going into that, you have to be a little open-minded too, and kind of restructure what you're looking for in NFT gaming, right? Because me personally, I'm an FPS gamer mostly. Like I play other stuff too, but there's not a true FPS NFT game out right now that even probably runs that well. Not on our blockchain, of course.
Right.
So you have to be a little more open-minded to these games that are coming out. Like, is this something I'm going to play? Is it going to be fun? Type of thing. Is it going to be too hard to play where I'm just not going to play it at all?
Right.
You have to factor in all those things to even be a gaming project in the Cardano in general.
Yeah, and I think the main focus needs to be like the game. Like the
yeah.
NFT side of that is great. The technology is really cool, but to the average person who does not give two shits about the technology behind any of this stuff, they just want to play it and that it has fun, and that it's fun and replayable. That's what the sell needs to be.
Absolutely.
And part of the reason why we're harping more on Wolves of Rome now is because we got a chance to finally get to play it. And shout out, we've seen some gameplay right here from the finals that was broadcasted over on Thor's channel here with Kyle and JPG Ken over here. But it was dope because it's like the first like esports like style tournament over here on Cardano, where you were getting live gameplay, you were getting strategy, it was entertaining to watch. There was a game with shout out to Slumber Shark, I think it was, that won in the last turn. Like he was all but beat. And they're like, unless he has this one card, he can change the game and win at the last second. And of course, he played the card that he needed and won the game with it. So it was like exciting moments and stuff like that. So
even with this though too, the gameplay is cool. It was cool for us because we played it, right? But for someone who hasn't even played the game, it's still just another video. Right. Like, even when I watch Twitch streamers or used to watch a lot of Twitch, I would only watch the game or the streamers that I was actually playing the game of. If I've never played this game, it's still just another video. That's what I'm saying. Like these projects too, like it's great that Wolves of Rome was a game first and then they came out with a project. So if people can get their hands on the actual product first before the actual NFT, I think that will go a long way for all of these gaming teams and projects.
Yeah, I agree. And there's 100%. Quite a few of them that have made their way out since then. Shout out to Cardopoly with Bobby and them. We got a chance to play. That was early on.
That's fun too. See what I'm saying? Those are games that I wouldn't typically think I'd play, but it's fun.
It is cool because it's in our blockchain, right? And we know these people. We've talked to them.
We want to support them.
But the replayability thing, it will definitely be a huge thing. And no eyes, we're not looking at you or anything, but Yummy. That's one next year. We definitely will have our eyes on.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll get some gameplay next year on that, but also understanding that and then cornucopias, you cannot talk about NFT gaming without talking about cornucopias.
Right.
Getting a chance to play that demo, getting a chance to see some of their trailers, their gameplay, people walking around and stuff like that.
And some races.
Yep. Yeah. So there's
did you smoke someone at CNFT Con?
Yeah, dude's dominating. He didn't know how to boost.
Yeah, he beat Charles Hoskins again. He was talking shit.
Yeah, dude, let's go, Charles. Yeah, no, there's a lot to be excited for on the gaming front. But again, we're just getting online with a lot of that stuff. So the game thing was definitely one of the main ones. And then Tom, I think we were arguing about what the timeline was in this, but I think I agree with you. Is the staking? Staking became huge this year.
Yeah, for all projects now. Even now, we're talking.
Like I think one of the things that we got into too is that next step that is kind of the big one right now. But staking is an integral part of that, where you get into like the token uses for a lot of projects right now. But staking that was popped off for a while. Everyone was like, you ready for this release?
Dude, well, it was like DeFi opening up also on the Cardano blockchain too. Like, I know Ape Society was one early on where you were able to hold on to your apes to earn and accumulate society. And then Yummy shortly thereafter was over on MinSwap, where Yummy's coin went insane for a while. It did a nice like 10x on what it was. And then you had the Clay token got airdropped to a bunch of different people. There's a bunch of different tokens that started to come out, but then we started to hit that saturation point inside of the market where Mutant Labs came out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but they became very popular for their staking platform, the non-custodial side, where you could just leave your NFTs in your wallet. Actually, what's it, NFT? Yeah, you could leave your NFTs Can you leave your NFTs in the wallet?
No, they're not custodial yet, mutants.
Who is the one that I'm thinking of that you can do that with though?
That came out first.
I'm trying to think right now if you can where you can stake in your wallet with nothing, you could pull it out and nothing ever left your wallet either.
Dead Pixel, they do that. You can just pull it out whenever you want.
Yeah, Dead Pixels you
Dead
can.
Pixels right now, no, they did like a staking period.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a staking period where
I just remember you could take it out.
It was locked. No, you could take it out, but you got a penalty.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You got a penalty. Yeah.
And then right now with clays, they're on baked where you have to physically go like bake it in order to claim it. But yeah, no, mutants, they're about to be non-custodial, I think. Right now that does, like I was thinking about my mallards. My mallards get sent in, but I can pull them out anytime. That's the difference.
You can, but the one thing too about that thing they're fixing is you have to pull them all out. You can't just pull out individual mallards yet. I think they're fixing that too.
There's a bunch, I know, whatever it is, the main thing that they're trying to do, and same thing with Ada Anvil as well with staking, is that you leave your NFT stays in your wallet and you're still earning all the rewards for
staking. It's Raggies. Raggies is the first one to do that. They're non-custodial.
Oh, right. Yeah. Do you
like I'm doing it right now. I'm
Ape Society.
all my Raggies for rags and they're just chilling. They were, I think, the first ones to do it. They've been doing this for months now.
Yeah, and also Ape Society too with the frames. You don't need to send anything in.
Exactly.
Everything sits there. You earn society on that as well. But no, that became a huge thing inside there, and most people are like, "Oh, we're going staking. We're staking for coins." And then it became the oversaturation of what the hell am I doing with these coins? Like, why do I want these coins? And it goes back to like the BSC like summer of like shit coins. Essentially,
it's like those Chuck E. Cheese just for fun boosters tokens. Like I have a bunch of these tokens. What I get to use for?
Shoot bucks.
Yeah, you shoot bucks.
Exactly. Your gems, whatever it is.
But shout out to the projects that actually have a use case within their ecosystem. Shout out to all of you guys. You know who you are.
We were talking yummy early on about that. We've looked at mallards. We've looked at society with Ape Society. There's quite a few that are out there. But yeah, dude, shout out to the Mutants platform. Shout out to who's the other one? I know Ada Anvil has the staking mechanism going
Raggies.
on. Raggies,
Cardano lands has staking.
Cardano lands as well. There's a bunch of those that have all those.
I mean, taverns. Taverns, I know they don't stake, but they have to get their dungeons.
The raids, though. Shout out to
raids. Those. Space Otters, read shells, bro. Come on now.
Yep. Well, that's an 8 Anvil. Yes, but yeah, shout out to them as well. But yeah, staking. So that was an interesting phase that we've gone through. Became like the new norm now inside there, and we can't not talk about the whitelist method that got popular earlier in the year. From started with overexposed, and I think more on the Genesis passes that they had that minted out, but then it got perfected with the mallet orders, invitation letters in the early summer.
So you said that at the beginning of the podcast before we recorded, but I'll argue that yes, it was a whitelist pass, but it wasn't free. The whitelist pass,
you had to mint it.
You had to mint it, but the whitelist pass that I think we're kind of referring to is the ones that were airdropped to people
early holders.
Right. So that I think is the meta. Like that one you had to buy.
Well, that one was like it was
the first one that really became popular and stuff too.
Yeah,
like it became like they were huge to get your hands on those. They had collections to them too, because they weren't just whitelist too. They had art to them. They also had like
and they had future utility. Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah. So, and if you remember it, if you actually were able to I think it was the first 1,000 people in the Discord that got that roll,
9mm roll,
3mm. I don't know. It was one of those. Yes, but they were able to mint that for 100 ADA. The floor for those things shot up to over 1,000 ADA at one point. And then people were able to mint, and if you were able to mint a mechanism early on, dude, you meant the floor was like 1,200 ADA. I'd never seen anything like that when it first came out.
If you minted that early on, you made a ton of money. Tommy, how'd that go for you?
We're talking we're gonna jump into a moment real quick. That's on the topic list, but yeah, we can't not bring up the year of my one of one. The only one of one I've ever minted. And it was.
Would you say that's one of your I'll call it a regret, right? Because you can't ever tell anything. Was that one of your regrets not selling this year?
Yes and no. It became such a meme in our community that I think it was so much fun. Let's see. There we are.
So outside of our community, if you weren't doing this, would you regretted that?
I mean, yes, I missed out on, I don't know, like at least 15,000 worth of ADA if I sold it right away. But because of that, I mean, it did it for the memes, dude. The memes that came out of that, the Jake Paul, the little guy, I don't know. It was just a fun time to be a part of that. And I really did enjoy the project. And I mean, I was literally making like edits and stuff like that for this video. It was fun.
I mean, we still enjoy the project though. We still love the art. I will say that. I still love their art.
Some of the highest quality in there. And the coolest thing about them is they perfected that. They had a cool, not perfected, I'd say, but they really made the reveal thing interesting for the top 10, where they had it like week to week. So you got to see a new reveal happen. And then on top of that, they also did the one of ones were, I don't know, some of the most out of the box one of ones that we've seen inside the space so far. And the music and all that, it was a cool time at that time. And then dude, you can't not shout out some of the memes that came from that over, and at least in our Discord. You got, oh god, man, I can't even see it right now, I can't blow it up, but yeah, dude,
it was a sticker. You can't, yeah, that's not the picture, it's
I was trying to blow it
up.
Not
the GIF.
Yeah, not the GIF. But yeah, dude, there's some funny stuff that came of that over in our Discord, and it became the joke. Like, oh, Tommy made it a 1-1 this week. Like, shut the fuck up. Let's move on. Let's keep this moving. And then as the value for those 1-of-ones quickly went down, the joke would be like, Tommy, you didn't sell that thing yet? What are you doing with that thing? What's the value of that thing? How's that going for you? How are you working out? Yeah, so it was a fun time, man. I ended up selling it. I think I sold it for roughly like 2,000 ADA, which again, minting for 100.
Still profit.
I 20x my money. I still can't. I mean, I can't be mad, but I can understand. I learned a valuable lesson there is if you get a 1-of-one, take Anax Commander's advice, sell it right away, and then you can get back in.
Yeah, absolutely. That, like, shout out to Anax Commander again. If that was such a play, immediately selling it, like immediately within hours of the mint still going on, I would have done the same damn thing.
It must have been, how long did we live stream for? 2 hours?
It was literally like 10 minutes. Like,
yeah, instantly.
We're talking about Mal.
No, I'm saying how long did we live stream that morning for? We did the live stream
an hour and a half, 2 hours, I think,
because he sold it right when it was over.
Yeah,
we were in the Discord and he sold it. So like, that's what I mean. It was like within an hour and a half he had sold it.
Yeah, we're talking Mallard order mint. So Anax Commander minted a 1-of-1 Mallard and literally sold it for 20,000 ADA the same day.
Good for him. Good.
And he bought a bunch more letters after that, and he's a big holder inside that project now. So yeah, dude, well, 1-of-1 lessons right there. That's definitely a moment in time. But yeah, the past meta has definitely got exhausting. Like, I'm so, like, if I have to get on Twitter to interact with this post to get potentially airdrop, dude, I'm just out. I'm not even like trying right now. I have no desire to do that right now. And it's just,
I don't mind interacting if it's a project or content that like is fun to interact with. That then it falls per project specific. Like, if they do a good enough job, it should be that. I agree with you, Tommy. I don't want to grind. I don't like.
Yeah, I don't have time for that.
So like, if they like, you know, produce good content, they're fun, they make jokes, they're serious and professional, whatever the case may be, whatever side of the coin. Like, if they are running their account well, I should want to interact already, and then they are going to go ahead and, you know, reward people that maybe interact the most or catch their attention the most, whatever the case may be. But I agree with you, where I don't want to have to like grind through anything anymore.
Yeah,
even the Discord leveling is something we never got too into. I know we did bring up though Happy Hoppers, and that was one that you did do. It was like one of the first ones you jumped in for that. Yeah. But again, a difference of that was how much fun it was.
It was fun. It was fun and new and fresh. That's the thing. It wasn't a recycled thing that people have already been doing. They were one of the first ones. I don't know if the first.
Well, and there's a lot of people in that server. Yeah, there were huge names. Like, there were a lot of fun to interact with. Like, everyone was getting in on the joke and having fun. That's why, like you said, since it was newer and fresher for our space, a lot of people jumped in. And now, since it's kind of tired, it's really just like hardcore people that want to like get in on every whitelist they can. And it's just like, I can't even compete most of the time. Like, some, you know, if you're working, you know, from home, or you're like possibly still like in university or even high school and you're at home classes and stuff, like,
there's no chance, right?
Yeah, no chance. So it just becomes more discouraging too, where it's like, I don't even want to try because I'm not gonna get there, and then I just have wasted my time.
Yeah.
Well, I think now, like you said, the first movers who create and innovate in that, they do well with it. And like I said, it did, but it's easy for pieces of shit projects to replicate that and just not be successful. And we've seen a lot of those come about this year. And then I feel like one of the last couple things that, and trend wise, that we've really been dealing with, that's gotten very popular, has been the reveal style mints. And it's where I was saying with Overexposed, but also with Adenauts. I feel like Adenauts had one of the more successful ones early on inside the year for the reveal style mint.
You know, thinking about that now, I still like the reveal style mint, but I think Bourbon's reasoning why he did it then was to kind of prevent flippers and the floor and stuff like that. But I'm looking at it now, I think that's a flipper's paradise, right?
Oh, 100%.
If you don't care if you're gonna possibly flip out a rare, like that floor is definitely going to rise up higher than what the floor is more than likely going to sit out for a bit of time. So if you get 5-10 of them unrevealed, you could flip that for an easy 5 to 10x. Not financial advice, but no problem for the most projects that are hyped about. So I think that's a flipper's dream, is to have an unrevealed project.
Oh, 100% it is. And I think it got popular. It was a combination of both of those two topics of the, this whitelist like passes, and then mixed in with the reveal style mints. Due to, like you said, the gambler's addiction was being fed. NFT, the degens, like they were just like ready, right? Like, I can build this, I can get the best one. I'm holding on to it, but I gotta wait for it to reveal. So the secondary market gets FOMO because they missed out on the mint, and then boom, here we are with all this secondary volume. And what's left of that project after that, though? And that is where we've been the big example that I can use, and there's absolutely no shade to them at all. It is just completely just what we've seen. And as far as trend goes, is Collectors Club recently over here, who's done over 1.13 million ADA in secondary volume, which is insane because they just released in a week. But that also is, like I said, they're minted for 149 ADA. The floor right now is sitting at 80. And you can see how much is being traded. So again, that tells me that it was a flipper's paradise early on. So now is the accumulating phase for the people who are actually involved with the project. But this was the perfect combo for people to go ahead and get excited, because at one point the floor for these Genesis unrevealed passes were 258 at one point, and we're selling still around like over 200 ADA prior to the reveal. And once the reveal happened, it was the race to the bottom for the unrare ones. But the thing I argue with, and the reason I guess I'm not a big fan of these reveals and these passes, is because it doesn't do anything for the holder. It only benefits the project creator, in the sense that it guarantees that their mint is probably going to sell out because they're doing this unrevealed thing. So it kicks in and it feeds that FOMO addiction. And it also prevents people from listing a bunch of stuff and flooring everything, because people don't want to lose that one of one feeling. So it protects them on a secondary for enough people to say, hold on, this new project's minted. I missed out on the mint, but check it out, they're still minting right now. I got a potential to get a rare. So again, it protects the sale in case it doesn't instant sell out. And then all it does is delay the inevitable, if the project is not sustainable at all, is that once it reveals, it gets dumped.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a terrible play. I think as a project, in a sense of the fact, like we just listed, those aren't bad reasons for a project to do that, in a sense of, it's going to, obviously they're going to make some little money from secondary sales. Okay, that's not nearly a crime, but it also is going to prove who wants to actually hold their project. So it's going to get out the flippers, or the paper hands, as we like to call them too. And the people who really want to be a part of this project, they're going to stay with the project and then buy up the floor and then some.
Right.
So I think it really does. It can be a beneficial or a good thing for a project too. I mean, I could look at it both ways.
Yeah. The other argument I've always hear is that it's, sucked out all the liquidity from the ecosystem to another project over here that potentially may not be here long term.
Until we get more people in the space, it's going to happen time and time again. Until we get more, it's still going to happen. I mean, we'll sit here and say that all day, that we're sucking liquidity out of other stuff, but that's what we're doing. It's not. It's a small pool right now. We don't have enough, liquid here. So it's always going to happen. We're always going to be recycling.
Yeah, I do feel like the reveal style, like you said, with the intent. I guess my biggest problem with it is, what's the intent of what's that benefiting to me as a holder, revealing it and making me wait a little bit longer.
But it also, like, as you a holder, but it could be like, what does that do for the person? Like, what is your take on NFTs or investing in NFTs in general? Like, if you're just here to flip, that's like I said, flipper's paradise. But if you want to actually invest in the project, like you said, what does that do for you? Well, if you're investing and you're holding, the floor really shouldn't matter for you. You should hold out so it fleshes out their full, vision of what they're going to have planned out.
Honestly, if you will plan to be there long term, the best thing you can do is not mint and wait for the secondary to drop its floor, and then you buy in the pieces you want and hand select, versus having to, that's honestly, that's the play.
It is, but like, all of us have some sort of gambling.
Right. It feeds the addiction. Like,
exactly. So like, all of us
do for us as a holder, it's so like, the only thing I've actually seen is exciting. You know, it's kind of that like, I mean, TJ, you and me both held on to ADA knots because we just want like, what if it's a boat? Like, I can't get rid of this thing. Like, what if this is the one? Because at that point, I could be, you know.
No shade. Looking back now, I wish I sold mine for more profit because I didn't get any legendary ones. So,
but you don't know though when you get
you know,
it. Right?
Yeah, you don't.
Can you imagine if you sold that 101
like, I got 400 ADA, and you're like,
if I had dragon wings or butterfly wings, I would have been livid. I would have been livid beside myself if I sold that.
I think again, when you get into there, Flipper's Paradise for sure. If long-term holder, maybe grab a couple and then wait for the floor, save some ADA, and you can buy back into that project. So definitely an interesting take on how things
risk.
Yes, that absolutely. There is definitely hype to be there, but absolutely, yeah. As you've seen also with some of those reveals, we've seen with was it the Clay Cats, wherever the hell they were they rugged.
I just love that you minted. You knew, bro. You're like, it's probably a rug.
It's probably a rug, but there was so much banter in the Discord, and words got me all excited. Words goes, for fuck's sake, I got rugged, and I'm like, damn it, I spent 98 on that thing. Unrevealed. So it also breeds way to shitty bad actors too. So there's a double-edged sword out there, but it's definitely always going to be a play. I feel like even more so maybe going into next year. And then the last one that definitely is now a huge controversial topic as the computers do to get smarter and smarter is AI art. We talked about that on the podcast last week, and I don't know if have you guys been looking at any of Congo's tweets at all from Ape Society?
Not
on his profile. So I want to show you guys some of his media that he's been posting over here, and you tell me what you guys think on some of this stuff. And because he's been posting some leaks from the Ape Society, take a look at this right here and tell me what your guys' thought are on some of this stuff. He's been posting some of this stuff from the Ape Society.
I'm sure it's AI art, but I'm sorry, that looks really cool.
So he's been posting some things, and these are some of the images that he's been using over here.
That's pretty cool too.
And yeah, no, it looks dope, right? Like it looks good for what it is. He's been posting these again, a bunch of different things. Here's some more over here, and it kind of goes back to like their era.
Cool.
I forget what the first one was that I really went out there, but he's been messing around with
that's badass. I like that a lot.
So see your reactions to these pieces of artwork. This was the first one. This was the cool one. I thought I really enjoyed this one.
That was dope too. Like that.
So I got duped here though. When I first saw this, I honestly thought this was something that they had drawn. Like this was part of something new that they had going on. Later find out in this Twitter space on the Blocks thing on Tuesday, talking to him, he's like, yeah, this took me about like 3 minutes in the mid journey kind of thing to really perfect it the way I wanted. And it popped this out. And he goes, took me all of a few minutes to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll argue that though, because it looks great. And I'll argue it to the fact of his project's already successful. So if he wants to start using a little bit of AR art for more marketing and drawing people in, I'm completely fine with that. I think this looks sick. And I think if I'm looking on the outside in, you see some of these images and you see the floor price, maybe on Ethereum side or Solana side, like, damn, these are pretty cool. Like, and you find out more about the project just from these. I'm all for it. Who gives a shit? It's a project that's successful using AR.
The artists that got their algorithm like fed by their art care. That's the only one. The other one's getting
but I'm assuming he's on his team though, right? I'm assuming
no, not at all. The ones that make the art like that they taught the algorithm with to do this AI art.
It's basically artists.
They're not getting any money. They don't have any. Yeah, they get no credit, no money for anything. They did all this art and they fed it into this computer program,
and it learned it and perfected their style.
But it's like one of those things.
They get no money. They get no. Normally, if they couldn't generate this themselves, they would either have to have the team member that can, which is expensive, or you have to bring in a third party or something and contract that out. And now an artist, an independent artist gets paid for that. That's the big argument against it, because now that person doesn't have a job, because these do look fucking awesome.
But like you said, though, we talked about last week, though, it's going to happen anyway. Like you're not going to stop this from happening.
So
this AR stuff.
And with that being said, for this trend, we got hit hard because we did cover that as well. And without me, this caught me off guard on the research side was the Automatica, the Genesis eggs. And we talked about that because it was a new project. And honestly, the only reason we were talking about it was because, this looks dope. This looks cool. We knew nothing about the project other than this looks good. And a few other people had talked about it, but not knowing me, just being, based on getting caught up in the hype of what it looked like, I was, I didn't really research into the project the way I should have. And now my mindset is completely like I've been burned a little bit. Luckily, none of us minted that.
We'll definitely be looking at new projects from here on out under a little more of a microscope, and kind of
100%.
want to see, okay, well, who's the artist now? Now more than ever, like, okay, what is your plan now? Also, is who is your artist, and do you have like some sort of proof of them actually creating this?
There needs to be
exactly.
a disclosure.
Yeah,
exactly. I need to see a little video like Bourbon did of you drawing it or whatever, our portfolio.
You see, like,
I need
Keyboard
something.
Warriors Internet Club, and you see the work, you know what I mean, that they have on their Instagram, where like you can see the clear inspiration.
Ori Mob has their Instagram.
You can see like how their drawing has developed over time. Yummy, when you see like his drawings from elementary school and stuff like that of Yummies. You know, this little, you can see where the work's developed over time.
Proof of content.
There definitely needs to be, if you are a project coming out using AI art and you want to be taken seriously in this space, there 100% needs to be disclosure about using the AI art. Because like I said, there's a benefit to using it and perfecting it in the sense that if you have a really cool idea and you're not an artist, you don't have the money to commission an artist, you can use this technology to your advantage to get something like we were just saying, this looks really badass. I would like to buy something like this. But because of that, I'm part of that. I've got this AI art where it may not necessarily, this guy was a great artist and I'm supporting the artist, but I'm supporting the project because they have really cool art and they have a really cool backup utility behind that artwork. Or vice versa, where you have somebody who may not be a creator at all, and like us, but we can use this to our advantage to go ahead and create, to enhance our content with what we have. So there's definitely benefits to it out there, but I think the intent and disclosure about this is going to be a big topic going into 23. And I think we've just kind of scratched the surface on where this is going to go in the NFT scene, because it's definitely going to breed way to bad actors who are going to use this to their advantage to mix it with the whitelist passes and the reveals and whatever else they can come up with to create new metas to keep things fresh in this market. So definitely a big trend right now that is probably going to get a lot more attention. But yeah, that's kind of like the 2022, I feel like, overview of like the evolution of what projects have been doing throughout the year. Do you guys have like a sentiment like now, like where you started at with NFTs, like your mindset at the beginning of the year versus where we currently sit now? Like, what's your overall feeling for this year?
I think I'm definitely a little pickier with projects now versus, I mean, I used to be known as the profile picture guy. Like I'm still kind of am, but I definitely am a little more pickier, or I'm doing a little more research than I even did beforehand in the start of this year. Because like you said, I don't want to be burned. I don't want a rug pull to happen on me, but I also, at the end of the day, I still want to be a holder of the ones that I hold. And I do, who doesn't want to make more ADA and flip some shit? So, I mean, I just doing more research more and more now with this AI art. I have to do even more research. I got to find, like I said, who the artist is. I need to see your portfolio. You just got to, cross some T's, dot some I's. That's all I need to do more.
So your criteria has changed quite a bit from the beginning of the year.
Absolutely has.
Tom, what about you?
I mean, even just looking at where we were last Christmas and what we were talking about, where we had all the Christmas drops coming out, the fun Christmas themed things.
Yeah,
that's
like,
right.
I can't wait for next year when we have next Halloween and next Christmas, because it'll be the second one, the holiday of our Cardano NFT cycle. And really now, though, that didn't really happen as much because I don't think people kind of buy, like, back then it was just like, give me more so I could flip it right now. Some projects still come out now and they release quite a bit. A lot of it's airdrops. It's a little different. It's not just kind of like gimmicky, like holiday stuff. And then the ones that do now are kind of just more memorial, like cheap kind of projects, just for fun, just to have a little token or something. But just, I mean, we're taking a totally different look at projects now. It's much harder to get into like a newer project when we still have all these old ones now sitting in our pocket that we're now just into a year of waiting for them to develop and get to their final spot. So I don't know if it's pickiness or just kind of like over that time a little jaded. Like, it's hard to give some projects a chance because I think I'm still waiting on all these other ones. How many? You got to keep investing in this space if you'd like to, continue to be a part of its growth, and new projects are going to emerge ahead of ones that we've already invested in or bought into. But that's probably the hardest part now, because it's not is that taking some new projects seriously. A lot of the new projects I've gotten into recently have been because I've seen the hype in a rough market and flipped them and kind of continue to stack ADA in this market, as opposed to being like, I'm holding, really digging this. I'm going to keep this for till next Christmas or the next 3 years.
New products definitely have to be really innovated, and their marketing has to be top tier. That's what I'll say. And advice for new projects, you know, really, you know, bring something to the table that's somewhat different. Like, don't bring me the same keywords and you know, copy and paste roadmaps. I need something a little different.
Yeah, I think we just gave you a full synopsis of everything that we've talked about so far this year, and where it's kind of evolved to. So it'll be interesting to see how people can innovate on that, because you really are going to have to stand out in this market if you're a new project, and to get people's attention. I think for me, overall, like, sentiment from the beginning of the year is that my blinders are off compared to where I was at the start of the year, where it was just like, oh yeah, everything's going to be great. We're going to really start to take off. And if I hold these projects for a long time, eventually they're going to continue to go up. Where now it's like, do I even want to get in this project at all? It's minting. Like we used to go on like the When CNFT or CNFT Radar or all these other things now. What's minting this week? And then just line up the ones that we were going to mint, the upcoming mints of the week. And now it's just like, is there anything even worth talking about? Like that's kind of where our mindset's been going. So I think it's been like a personal like growth too throughout the year of like investing strategies for NFTs. Like, what are like consolidating a lot. Like, going back, I remember like I putting all my my holding NFTs in my ledger. Like, out of the 1,000 something that I had, I took 400 of those out of there, and those are in my ledger. And so 60% of what I invested in is no longer even, I consider, even worth it.
I can't believe over 1,000 NFTs. My goodness.
It's crazy though. Like, when you think about it like that, like those are all learning lessons, sure. But like at the end of the day, it's like, why did I invest in that project versus now like the criteria I have in my mind of
take
why
the
would
money,
I buy something?
dopey.
Yeah, there's 100% because it's nothing's promised. And like I said, 95%, maybe more of these projects that are out there right now are not going to be here at this time next year. We could have a completely different landscape. So
yeah, my financial advisor last year was Tommy, and I should have sold my green clay for 4,000 ADA when it was $2.20, and I didn't.
Yeah, but would you have cashed it out right away?
Probably then, yes, I would have 100%.
PJ, you're pretty good about cashing it out over there.
Yeah, I've been cashed out all year.
The problem that I run into is I forget how much they blast you in the ass on taxes when it's short term. It's really rough because you're like, I'm just gonna take this out, and then you're like, well, fuck, I just lost like 40% of its fucking value after all the transfers. I might as well just let ADA dip down to whatever it was and keep it in my wallet.
Yeah, either that or just don't let the taxman find you. But that's never the way to gamble, dude. You don't want to play that game.
Last year I did my taxes. They asked me, did you take money from crypto or whatever the question was, and I put yes. I was expecting to submit my paper, and that was all it was. That was the question. They didn't ask anything else more about it. Oh
yeah, okay. I did all the connectors because I was big into like the DeFi world, so I connected all my Coinbases, my Binance, Uphold, a bunch of all the different ones. So I'm assuming they're going to get cracked down more and more on that.
I think this upcoming one for sure.
We need to give you money back. Probably you're probably not doing so well.
SafeMoon, yeah, they're going to return a rebate check, a stimulus check back for that one. I guess like utility has been, we had this debate like what utility really is. What I guess in our mind, like a simple quick thing, what is utility to you guys in a simple sentence? Like, from what can a project offer that is utility, or what is utility in your definition personally?
Something that can be, honestly, very blunt. I'll say it, like profitable, or that can make me money in the long term or now. I mean, plain and simple, that really is what it is. Like, for utility wise, whatever that mechanism is, that's really why the majority of us got an NFTs. Now, don't get me wrong, my mindset has shifted a little bit to, I do like some of the stuff because of the art, but really and truly, I want to get more. I want to stack more ADA. So any project that can make me more ADA, or make me more ADA by changing their token or converting their token into ADA, I'm all for it. Whatever the mechanism is, I'm down for that.
That's fair. Tom, what about you?
I mean, I got like my electric bill, my water bill. Which utilities we talking about here?
Those are the essentials.
I definitely agree. When I look at projects, especially when I originally got in, and there's still always a level of down the line where it's just going to bring me back some sort of money for my investment.
Absolutely.
It's not always, the friends we made along the way, even though the community is great. That's just an extra kind of bonus onto everything. It makes it 100% much more pleasant and much more easier to do research and enjoy the space and do things like this, which makes it a lot of fun. Utility is hard to define, obviously, because it could be something as simple as like it does anything at all. Like, oh, there's like, it does something. But what I'd like to see is what we're seeing in some of these games and things like that, where they have a real world use, like not just, hey, it's a token, what does it do? Well, it has utility that buys you raffles. Like it does do something, you can use it for something, it does have quote unquote utility. But like as far as the success of crypto and Cardano as a whole, and like adoption to make this as popular and mainstream and widespread used as we would like to see, to where it's really, you know, going to benefit all of us having been in the first year and a half, would be some sort of real world applications, like some sort of reason for the actual, like, because TJ, you're talking about games too. Like I'm an FPS, like I'm the same way. Like I don't think an FPS game could survive on a crypto, because why would anyone play that? You can go play Overwatch 2 for free. Like, you know, why would I play this weird game that was made by 3 guys that want all this money from me when I can play better games? So you need these kind of innovative games, or these games that may not be the first of their kind in the genre, like a Wolves of Rome, but they work well. The strategy and gameplay is fun, and it's within our blockchain and community. So there's that level to it. So, but it's a tough definition. I would just like to see something that's going to bring us to that next outside of like our realm, which
I like that too. Kind of yeah, bridging the gap there. I like that.
When we were talking about this question again in that space with Congo and Block and a bunch of other people, what the utility portion is, my kind of definition of it was it is honestly anything that's your definition of utility is going to be different than mine, because it's whatever personally you feel is valuable.
100%.
And it would, whether that's a monetary thing for you, TJ or Tom, whether that's something in real life that you can take advantage of, like tangible, or something that's a combination of both, or even wealth of knowledge is another part of utility. Say you're in, let's just use the Ape Society as that as an example, where you're inside that community. There's real people that you make connections with that can help you do something in the future, whether it's something that is in real life, like, hey, I'm a doctor and I can tell you that you need to do this, or hey, I'm a minting developer that can get you in contact with this person. Like that could be a utility because it's an exclusive information access book that you may not have outside of maybe that, and that could provide, you know, you pay a service in real life to get that kind of information.
I'm all for that utility too.
That could be a personal way to do it. I think I'm a combination of both. Like I want something monetarily that's going to give me some sort of value inside of a future project. And then I think the connection thing is big for me, the networking part of it too. Like who can I talk to in those communities? What kind of resources can I gain from that? And where can I use that to potentially make me more money, or whatever it is to make it something lucrative in the future. So, and then on top of that, if you get some swag out there for certain things, shout out to Clay Nation for things like this, where you can get some merch and real life things that you can rock out there, that's an even better portion of that. But is community utility? Absolutely. Is money part of that? Absolutely.
Community is definitely part of it as well.
So definitely an interesting question on that. But I think if what new projects can really need to be focusing on going into next year, like what kind of utility can they provide? I think community is definitely going to be a top tier portion of that, especially like in this market that we're at, where you go through those lulls of news periods where you're not really announcing anything because you guys are still building, but you got to keep people engaged. You got to keep them running. You got to keep stuff fun. And you got to have a good community that can hold you up in those downtimes. I think that's going to be a big thing for new projects. Can you foster a good community and provide value long-term for the project?
I agree with that.
It's really, I mean, why I agree though with the community side of things. Sorry, just to like, because, I mean, really because utility can apply to anything. I mean, it's just really the benefit that it is bringing you. Why do you engage in it? Why are you, you know, taking part? Like, you know,
why are you holding?
Well, not even projects, so like video games. Like, what's the utility of playing Super Smash Bros? And it's like, well, it helps me relax. It gives me some, you know, I enjoy it. It's a hobby. 100%. It helps hand-eye coordination. I joined tournaments and I've met like 2 of my best friends doing it. Whatever I'm making all this up, but you know, whatever the case may be, like that is
coordination.
That is, yeah, for sure. I mean, video games definitely help with that. 100%. Come on, Tommy, don't be a boomer.
Dude, I got my controller all day.
Yeah, that is like the utility though of like, you know, gaming, or the utility of going to the gym, you know, like, well, what is the benefit that it provides to you? So it is very personal and subjective as well, because that can change from person to person. Some people go to the gym just because they would like to be healthier and maybe extend their life, whatever the case may be. Some people go to the gym and don't even live a healthy lifestyle. They just want to be jacked and pump themselves full of steroids and then, you know, look as big big as possible and, you know, crap out at 35 or
flex
whatever.
on the broke boys, dude.
There's just different utility to be gained from each event for different people.
Trying to make bank, bro.
Get ass. Drive a Range Rover.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think that is a very subjective definition, and it's a personal one that you need to identify. I think prior, again, at the end of the day, these NFTs are an investment. You are spending your money and your time to do these things. And when you get into a project, you need to really have a game plan going into them to understand what it is you want from that. Because we've heard the term rug or slow rug out there, and there's people that were just like, hey, you didn't see the signs, you didn't pay attention because you weren't as involved as you should have been in this community to see that things weren't going the way that they had planned. The founders are not going to be able to execute their vision that they had. You should probably get out of this right now before this happens, before they disappear. And then people are like, oh, they rugged us. And it's like, no, you just didn't do your research and you made a stupid investment. So that's a tough thing for people to hear sometimes. But I think people are getting smarter in this space. And hopefully as they watch programs like and stuff like this and listen and educate themselves, they can get a little bit more information and make better decisions.
Which brings me to my next topic, Tommy. If you like this video or you're enjoying the content, please give us a thumbs up and a sub if you're feeling generous.
Look at TJ. It's been a year in here. If you would have told him to make that plug a year ago, man, I don't know where that sentence would have went. I don't know where we would have, what kind of ride we would have been on.
You attempted doing it after a year and it still didn't go that well.
Oh, I went last week and I wasn't back.
I've never even attempted one, so yeah, I'm not even going for it.
Tom,
so.
I think before the end of this show, we should definitely get a plug from the other Tom, from Tiny Tom out there.
Tiny Tom.
So going into 2023, we have a fun little matrix. We can make this, doesn't need to be a long topic out there, but I thought this would be fun up there of some top projects, personal favorites, sleepers, maybe some upcoming ones we're looking forward to, and maybe even future blue chips over there. Kind of maybe a little more rapid style. With maybe we can elaborate a little bit on some of this stuff, but just a fun little segment over here.
Tommy, we're gonna have to wrap it up. Come on.
Yeah. We'll get the Dave Chappelle, wrap it up, guys. Get the music playing. Get us out of here.
Show.
You guys we may have more like an hour and a half episode for you guys this week, but it's okay. It's the last one of the year. We got to give you a little extra content over here.
Double content.
So 1.5.
Still the 1.5.
This is gonna suck the timestamp.
Dude, we got you all set up over here. But yes, no, top projects. I think like if we had to go into 2023, after a year in this space, we've seen so many mint. Where if we had to put a top 3 together, if you had one or just arbitrarily, where would you guys start over there on project wise? Maybe we can go
just the top 3, or does the ranking matter? Are we talking
the ranking doesn't matter. So let's see, it doesn't matter in any particular order for you, Tom.
Let's take a look here at the actual list we made.
You can't ring them off the top of the head, top of the dome.
Not that easily, because it's top 3 is relative to relative to what? Which ones do I
think
have the most return for
personal?
Which one do I think that?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's your. So like what I'm most excited about seeing the future because of where they're at right now is probably. And I'm not going to say, I'm choosing not to say Yummy, because we probably all chose Yummy last Christmas, and they did some great stuff with their staking and having the seasonal things like that. But I'd like to see the next 2023 for where Wolves of Rome ends up developing to, Dirtbirds, and Future Fest.
Okay.
That's probably what I would choose, just because of where they're at right now, too.
Derp, Wolves of Rome, Future Fest, all good projects. Derp's on the rebirth right now. They're getting ready to drop that. You've got Future Fest, who's doing an airdrop for deluxe holders, I believe on the 23rd, 22nd, 23rd over there. So that they've been teasing the Vibe Corp or whatever the hell it is. And then Wolves of Rome that we've seen some great gameplay. So that'd be dope to get the NFTs moving once that is actually all up and running. TJ, what about you?
I'm gonna be very, very unique with my picks here. You guys are never gonna guess them. I'm gonna go with Mallard Order, Yummy Universe, and Old Money. Okay.
Wow.
At least you didn't say like Clay, Space Buds, Dead Pixel. Just like top 3.
Tommy's backspacing.
Those are all right, guys. What else can we choose? All right. So we said
those
Mallard
are just
Order.
I have a lot of top projects. If I just had to pick 3 that I'm like, as far as it hits all the check marks, as far as community, what they have planned out, and what they have done so far, those are the 3 that I really like being part of.
If you had to put number 1 out of the 3,
Nah, Mallard, I'm sorry.
All right, fair enough.
Top one.
I put together a 3, and 2 of our 3 right there are there. With Mallet Order, Yummy Universe, and Clay Nation. I had to rep the Clay over here tonight.
That's a top. Clay's good too.
And just for as far as like top projects, like I said, it's hard to put an order to any of that stuff, but I've really been liking what I've seen from Mallet Order so far. I think their grind and their hustle is going to pay off. They're builders in this space and they can pivot at any moment, but they're bringing something fun and exciting and bringing the marketing aspect to another level. Yummy Universe, I think, is really going to feed in. If they can get that card pack sale done right, the first go around, there's a huge market there, I think, for them. And then obviously if the game gets online at all, I think that's really, you're going to really see Yummy kind of come to life this year. And then for me, Clay Nation, I think we've all been kind of on the edge of our seat for that, waiting for the actual game, the Metaverse, to start to come out. And then whatever kind of real life partner. We've already seen a music video with Champ and Charles. They've got, I can only imagine if Snooper and Good Charlotte and all those other partnerships kind of flesh out, get some actual concerts in there. And it looked good, even on the little demo that they put out. So, and we get pants this year.
Ooh, pants. And just to preface this, we all like all of these projects. They're all
100%
up there.
Oh, don't put words in
my
mouth.
Well, dude, hold on. Well, here's next topic over here.
Hold on now.
Hold on now.
Hold on now.
Hold on to the lights. I love that. Right, I was almost got. It feels like I can grab them right here with this little green screen. Oh shit. No, our personal favorites. We did have a category here, personal favorites this year. And this gives us a little new opportunity over here. TJ, what is a personal favorite of yours?
Personal favorite going into 2023, because they're going to be starting their hold to earn game, is Raccoon Syndicate. Great community, great founders, great art, and I love the game mechanic, the gamifications of the NFTs they have. So
you like being excited. A lazy gamer,
a lazy game. That's a game for me, baby. That's for me. This was made for me. I said that during the live stream the first time. It really was.
Dude, they've got a good mechanic. I'm excited to see
that. They do. I'm pumped for that. I'm very excited for them. I know they're going to do it right. I know it's going to be done well, and can't wait for it.
I hear you on that. Tom, what about you? Personal favorite?
Well, I mean, I'm a born rebel, so I'm not going to follow your rules. I'm going to pick 2.
Okay.
But because of this, there's 2 projects on like the opposite sides, I'd say. Like they just are both accomplishing different things. One is purely for kind of the project. One of them is like doing a lot of really cool things with the technology and their community. And I would say probably Old Money and Aeonium Sky, because both great art, but just, different projects entirely, I guess. Not to say that other projects are more related, but you know what I mean? Like their goals.
Yeah.
Aeonium Sky kind of always fills this interesting space within our community, because like all this utility we're talking about and stuff like that. Not to say they don't have further plans, but right now it's really just fucking awesome.
Dude, I agree with that. I like the double. Tom's an art guy. He said at the end of the day, I'm watching the projects he's got. You got Aeonium Sky and Old Money. Those are definitely some art projects there. My personal favorite, which you stole it from me, you with the double over there, is Old Money. A personal favorite of mine, only for the fact that Discord, that community, the MFers over there, they're just like a different kind of culture. It's a fun community to be a part of. The artwork is on another level, and it's just so much fuckery going on over there. And met some really cool people. Like shout out to Dilly, shout out to Q over there, shout out to Trix and Hood, and everybody over in the cabinet, and just the whole community itself. Getting a chance to see them over at CNFT Con, doing that rooftop party, and just getting a chance to meet and really talk with them. That is one of those ones where it's just like, man, this community, you have to be in it to really understand it. But that is an example of one of those projects with the like really versatile utility that's coming out. Yeah. And if they've got a bunch of they've got all different kinds of barriers to entry coming up, and another one to keep an eye on, because they have their next build collection coming out this year, and within the next couple of days here, it's When Boy issued volume number 2. So definitely keep an eye on Old Money. I think that's one for sure. Do you
pitch.
Hey, I'm trying to sell somebody on something, right?
That's the Old Money commercial right there.
Yeah, right there.
100%.
Hibbity screen or don't.
Hibbity or don't. That was a great commercial. Sleepers. The sleeper hold. No, sleeper projects over here. Tom, I don't know if you got one of these. At least according to the sheet. But TJ, you got a sleeper pick going into next year?
Happy Hoppers.
Some people. Ooh.
Happy hoppers. They got their Gen 2s coming out eventually. I'm assuming obviously Q1 I'm hoping for anyway. Jeb, let us know. But no, yes, happy hoppers. We've always been a big fan since we minted them. So very excited for them. I think they're a sleeper play. I think they're still under 100. So keep your eyes out for happy hoppers.
Okay. I would say definitely Space Otter Society. Just because I want to steal yours, because I'm sure that was yours.
I was waiting for Tom to come out there. Really, Tom, what about Space Otter Society is a sleeper to you?
I have like 60 to 70 of them now in my wallet. No, I've actually probably already said this one. I would just go with, and it's hard to define sleeper too. Like I don't want to because it almost sounds like they're not getting the recognition they deserve, because they've obviously been around a lot. They were just on Thor's show. They had the big tournament. So a lot of people
can call it under 100 ADA projects,
but
right?
I would say, yeah, like Wolves of Rome. I just think that there's also a little disconnect still too, because kind of the tokens that have been for sale aren't fully integrated into like the actual, like you can play the game without it. So that's also why I think that you see some lower floor prices, things like that. It's really about support.
I agree.
And I just think with where they're at, and as like a not runner up, but like on equal level would be Cardopoly with and their project. I don't think their floor is much higher still than 100. I haven't checked.
Yeah, they're still up in the mid hundreds. Yeah.
But just again, where they're like, you can play the game, you can get in, you can do it. It's been popular. People have enjoyed playing it. They are actually like actively making it better with each time people play and adding new things or fixing, small bugs they find. So I would say both of those, where I just think there's people that wouldn't even know that there was these games and tournaments going on this side. They're just on JPEG Store all day. So they don't even see these games that are like playable now.
Yeah, I could see that. I was gonna, you chose mine a little earlier. But definitely Space Otter Society for me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I got 60 or 70. All that reminded me of is when Will Ferrell's in Step Brothers. He's on the couch in like therapy, or no, is it Dale? John Riley, where he's like, I'm a janitor. I've always felt like I'm brilliant. I'm solving equations on the blackboard ahead of time. He's like, he's describing the plot of Good Will Hunting.
What?
Like, no, yeah. So no.
My best friend's Ben Affleck.
Yeah. That's all like Tom was doing to me. So
like 60 or 70.
I got 60 or 70 of these things.
That is true. That's a good point.
Talked to one of the founders last night. It was great.
Yeah, dude. But anyway, shout out to Space Otter Society. Definitely a project of mine that I think if you haven't watched the Cowboys of Crypto episode with Space Otter Society, go check that out, because you got some good alpha over there. But they are a project that's partnered with Ada Anvil to build out their missions over there that are basically like community events that can earn you prizes that dig into the lore of them. They're partnered up with other partner projects. They did Happy Hoppers, and now they're going with Jelly Cubes and Big in January, and they're selling that mission service to other projects to be able to use in the future. And they're like a 68 a floor right now. They just minted those Space Otter pups, which are also stakeable for their shells. They got a lot of cool things up in the works. So definitely a project of mine that I hold quite a bit of. I think I totaled the tally of it right now. I'm at 139 or 137 total assets between the pups.
Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those up.
And my biggest holding as far as one project. So, or secondary sleeper, just throwing it out there. BB.
Oh, stop it, please.
I was waiting for TJ over there. God. Shout out to Beat Boys.
With no Discord.
Just keep an eye on them, baby.
That didn't become to fruition.
December, they're dropping something. Who knows? We'll see.
Another slice of pizza. There you go, buddy.
There we go. Hey,
Christmas pizza, a Christmas slice.
Yo, hey, good vibes only, upcoming project for 2023 that you guys are excited for.
I'm gonna take Tom's meta and go two. I'm gonna go for twofer on this one. Gophers and Goombles.
Gophers and Goombles. What kind of gophers?
They're goofy. Right. Goofy gophers.
Where do they work? In mine?
In mining.
All right, fair enough. Goofy gophers. Definitely. Maybe stay tuned. Hopefully next month.
What Goofy gophers? Obviously for their utility, and Goombles because the game. Very pumped to play that.
Okay, so Goofy Gophers there, Tom. Which one are you coming up with for this one?
Freshman, I'd probably have to go Goombles. Just especially after getting to finally like meet Farmer Nash, because we've heard him plenty in spaces and things like that, and there's been a lot of it's been tense with some characters from the East Side, but there is also that level of experience. Like, he clearly has been involved with the crypto side for a long time, and when just speaking with him, I like how he handles what he's doing with this project and the ideas they've come up with and the way they're running it quite a bit.
Well thought out for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited to see, how that plays out and how that develops. And I'm hoping, things get a fair chance on our side too, because I know that there's some people that are just like, oh, isn't that ETH guy kind of thing? So
I think he deserves a fair shot now. That's for sure. After seeing him.
Yeah, for sure.
My personal upcoming favorite right now, definitely have an eye on, which is kind of out, but not really yet with their main mint, is Her Monsters Gang.
I agree with that one too.
Yeah, shout out to them, dude. That Prio floor, I don't know, sitting where it's at right now, but it was over 1,000 ADA. One of the last times that I had taken a look at it. So they've got some really cool ideas. I know the puzzles and their website.
1,500, bro.
1,500 ADA floor right now for the Prio squad. So that's actually ridiculous right now. And there's actually a bunch of sales too. So that's even crazier. So that project is definitely one. If you do not have a Prio member, yeah, that sucks. But you also can get into the apartments over there, and there's only a few. Those apartments have to be going off actually too. Not to do live research what we're doing in the middle of this stuff, but yeah, almost a 600 ADA floor on the apartments.
596. Holy.
And their cool thing for me is that they're going to be using those apartments. Those are only ever going to be I think how many, 1,000 of them, of the apartments. There's only going to ever be that. So when the main mint happens, kind of similar to maybe how like Ape Society is taking the cabins and you're staking your apes in there, you're going to be able to rent out your apartment to stake. And so there, obviously there's going to be more in the main drop. I think like over close to about 4,500 or 4,700. So people who don't own one of those apartments are going to need to be able to stake, but they're going to have to rent and charge. People who own those apartments are going to be able to charge rent to people staking in there.
That's an upcoming favorite and a sleeper.
Yeah,
you forget all the, you definitely.
I don't know if they're a sleeper at this point with the amount of volume. Like the people who know about like Her Monsters, because they have an unofficial Discord that the team's in. You may want to go join Her
But
Monsters
I feel
gang.
like even like other content creators don't talk about them.
They don't know. It's also like
Mallard, so a sleeper. It's a sleeper though. That's why I call it a sleeper.
It ain't a sleeper anymore. Wake up, everybody! Her Monsters gang. Go check that shit out.
Check it out. There you go.
Yes, that's definitely
talking to you, Blake. Go check them out, bro. We try to tell you about Mallard. Go talk about Her Monsters.
Yeah. You
didn't get it.
I thought he snacked some afterwards.
No, he didn't.
I don't know if he bought one yet. No. Okay. Here's a good one. Final one over here, maybe. Blue chip, the most potential to be the next Cardano blue chip project.
You asked this before, and I don't know. Just because I'm going to bring them out again. Are they considered a blue chip now?
In my mind, I think they've kind of started to earn that status. I think so. I agree. I think so.
Price of what they've hit.
Blue chip potential.
Multiple collections that have held up very well with a great roadmap detailed out, and over 7 million volume traded. I think we can start to put them in that category, and I know Demosthenes will hate that because he's like, don't put us in that box. We want to be out of the box. So
you're in the box, all right? You're in the box.
Demosthenes, speaking to him, man, maybe we gotta talk to that guy, huh?
Glad I called that guy. I don't know, honestly. Pass the Tom.
Tom, you got to defer for a potential new blue chip.
Pass.
Pass the
Tom. I would probably say it's similar. It's a hard call because obviously they've already had multiple drops now, this project, and their floors have held strong. They've had some really big sales. But I think with what they have to develop and the person they have leading it, as well as the artist and then the community, I would say Raccoon Syndicate. Because I can't really see how they could, unless they just aren't unable to develop, what they've kind of roadmapped out. I can't imagine them, them not being extremely successful just because they plan everything well. Timmy handles his drops well. They come up with cool ideas. Got great community support and filled whitelist almost all the way up. So they're selling out every time immediately. And I mean, the art's phenomenal. So,
okay. I like that. I could definitely see them having a crazy run next year as that hold to earn really starts to get online.
I got mine. It's a new project. We talked about Keyboard Warriors.
Ooh, okay. I like that. You shout out to them. They just had the most volume traded in the last 30 days.
Yes.
Shout out to Keyboard Warriors for that.
So potential for them.
I like that. I think my pick for potential blue chip, which has been going absolutely insane over here, is got to be no, not BB. Or a mob over here. Shout out to or.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good pick. I agree with that. I don't own any, but I'll agree with the pick on that.
Right now, for sure.
They've been going nuts over the last few days. They had that initial run. Now Nutso on the Butso, and I made some great flips on the way up with them. So they treated me well, reminded me like Beyond Rockets a little bit when it first started. But there is a big passionate community behind that project right now, and there are already over 6 million ADA volume traded.
Passionate.
Yes, in like literally less than a month and a half, they have over 6, and they're on pace to be one of the fastest growing projects out there right now. And with like I said, this artist Ore out there, check out his Instagram, dude. That guy is crushing it right now, and a lot of that stuff, their stuff is starting to come online. So that's definitely a project I think will jump into that conversation and maybe cementing itself earlier than later right now in the beginning of that year. So definitely keep an eye on Ori Mob. I think I flipped most of mine. I still hold one currently right now.
Right now we're going to go around. You guys all have to name the worst project of the year and explain why in detail why the artist sucks.
Clay Cat Society.
Real quick.
Ah, man, Clay Cats.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we're still excited for. I mean, even some of the ones like cornucopias I want to put on there. That's probably like one of my riskiest ones.
As I said, this list is so small, but we could add a lot more to that.
Well, just like cornucopias really make or break to me, like whether or not this is going to be like a fun experience. It comes out within a time that's competitive for the rest of the market. But from what they've shown, like it could be fantastic. And they're also making some games that we don't have yet on Cardano and no one else is promising.
I wouldn't even
the racing elements and stuff.
I wouldn't even be upset if they released the exact same pre-alpha that they had at CNFT Con, so everyone else can play it too.
Get a chance to play it.
Get some of the racing aspects in
just
there
even that.
I think they need to I mean, obviously, I'm not in game development. I don't know like workflows of that kind of stuff. But what I'd like to see is like while they're working on this huge undertaking that is like a 3D world metaverse, that they like kind of have their part of the team that I'm assuming is dedicated to just race now and split that way. Kind of get maybe like, hey, you guys can all go live and like 1v1 people now in the races or something along those lines, and start bug testing that for us too and help the development. Just to get our like you said, TJ, get our hands on a little something here.
Just something.
Yeah, I could agree. Cornucopias is definitely obviously one of the most ambitious products out there. So if they can execute any of the vision that they're out there, are building, obviously that's going to jump right to the top.
Talk about sucking liquidity out when there was mints coming up. That was.
They need that. They need that ADA.
Sure those are big drops for those.
What's that?
They need that ADA. Well, one final thing over here while TJ's Santa hat just gets a little dangly over there.
You can't see mine as well. What's your sweater say, TJ?
Oh, it's Santa riding a unicorn.
I got
mine says, dude.
Oh, that
what does yours say?
Sweet. What about mine? Dude. What does mine say?
Your tattoo says dude. Your tattoo says
God,
sweet.
how old are we, dude? Well, going
27.
into 2023, man, it's been a year for the channel. I know when we started last year, I think we had a little bit over 300 subs at the beginning of this year. We literally had over 300 subs to start the year.
Shout out to you, 300.
Yeah, really? Shout out to the OGs out here.
Shout out to Steveatron. You know who you are out there, Steveatron.
Good old Steveatron. Well, the Freedom 35ers 2022 year wrapped over here. I thought this would be a fun thing. I don't know if you guys have got a chance to see this yet, but I was looking at it, and our snapshot is there. So we ended up with a little over 62,000 views on the year. Over here, almost. This is a crazy stat. We weren't too far off from 1 million minutes watched.
That's insane
in a year, which is actually wild to like see.
Wow. 863,000 us by now, right?
Right. Over 2,000 and almost 2,100 new subs this year. So that growth has been insane to see. So shout out to everybody that's subscribed over to the channel. In May, was the hottest month for us over on the channel. Our most viewed video, which is still wild to think about where that bull run was last year, was how to buy Pavia. So clickbait works.
Play a little algorithm there for sure, working the algo.
And then shout out to here we go, Raccoon Syndicates, their community.
Ada Ape Society, remember that, huh?
Ada Ape Society, Tavern Squad, Dead Pixels, Disco Solaris, man, it was crazy to see. That was back on episode 15 of this year, some of our best videos, which is pretty crazy.
Our YouTube short phase was
we got real creative with 2 shorts.
It was real short phase we had there.
Shout out to Cardano Thor. I love this. I'm gonna let you finish over there, and an 8 Army. And the we do need to get some more of those going.
I forgot about that actually. That was cool. That was quality.
Right? Shout out to our US, United Kingdom, and Canadian viewers over there. Real diverse over here, you know. But that was the best really cool stat over here was the final boss status. It says we had over 5,000 minutes streamed on the live streams this year. We just hit our 35th live stream, which will be going into 36 next week. Almost 20,000 views just on the live stream alone, which is pretty dope. Which is almost
proud of that. I'm extremely happy. It's been a lot of fun. Like, that support is awesome to see, especially because I feel like, you know, it's a pretty relatively small community. One, just the CNFT community, then 2, the one that's going to engage and, you know, have the time for live streams and things like that, support shows, and it's awesome to be a part of it. And you know, so happy that we were able to finally, you know, jump in and do it too.
I remember when we made that change too, we were like, dude, that Thursday that we got too much content all in one little area. It's all bundled up at the end of the week. We need to make a switch. We did the Monday thing and it was very successful, and good way to spread out the content. And it's Mondays for me are just the Mondays are fun days. And it
makes Mondays not suck. Because you starting work off and you get to come home like, all right, cool, I live stream tonight.
It's actually kind of awesome. Fun. I really like, I mean, especially now because I can like watch and like feel like I can participate a little more and I'm not lagging. I got the new computer. But I love the live streams.
Yeah, I don't have to screen share. I can actually ask decent questions.
Also, because the first ones we were doing on Thursday and I'd have to be editing our show. And that was like, I would just be kind of checked out while you guys chatted. Or now I get to like actually engage and work on a couple more things while we talk. That isn't like I need to get the show out by tomorrow.
Yep. No, big shout out to the live streams and all the guests that we get to have onto the stream. So good mix over there.
Round 2, round 3.
We should post that. We didn't post that.
We will. I just wanted to showcase this off over there. 417 days we've been doing this over there since the first upload on the channel.
Sheesh.
Dude, the metrics on that are just kind of crazy to see. But just shout out to everybody over there who has supported us over this last year. It is crazy to see this. Never in my life would I have thought we were anywhere near these kind of numbers over here. So
thank you guys for sure. The community, people that watch us. Dude. Thank you. Real quick, since we're thanking you, if you guys wouldn't mind just smashing that like button, notification bell, hitting the sub if you're feeling real generous. It's much appreciated. Thank you guys for that too.
It is the holiday season.
Try one of these, right?
Yeah, before we get going out there, Tom's gonna plug us. I think that let's end the podcast with the plug from Tom. 2023 outlook for the actual podcast in a short form over here as we wrap it up over on the back end. What are we I guess what are you guys most looking forward to next year for the show?
The guests. I'm excited for what guests we get on our show, especially the live stream. I'm excited for actually coming up or fleshing out some of the plans that we've had since midway this year and even beginning of this year, like as far as Discord goes, game nights now with you guys' new PCs, you know, making those are some of our unofficial mods, just stuff like that. Kind of restructuring the Discord a little bit. Other stuff too, but I'm not going to mention right now because I don't want to like overpromise type of thing.
Don't be leaking. It's exciting ideas. You know, obviously we got the holograms coming out. F-35 holograms. We're all gonna
come on, dude. I don't want to say that.
AI, Tom.
Yeah. For me, the guest is a great one too. That's what I'm excited about because we'll start to get round 2, round 3 development. You know, get to really and we're getting to know the people now. It's not, you know, we're moving past that initial first time coming on kind of thing, so it makes it a lot more fun for us. And then also, you know, as mentioned a few times, I started a new job in September. No, it was October. And I got my last certification this month, and sales just kind of busy in end of the year anyway. It's a good potential time for my industry. So I'm looking forward to being able to hang out a little more in the Discord come January, engage a little bit more as it grows, you know, with our community. I felt I still go through and I scroll on my phone at night, but it's hard to like, I'm not going to respond to stuff from like 10 a.m.
Like the Wolverine picture where you're just in bed looking at everything.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna respond to like 3 or 4 things from 10 a.m.
That's how
we
I
talked
feel
about that
too.
before.
Yeah.
So like I'm just looking forward to being able to get more actively involved. Even this past like week and a half, I realized today that when I got in with you, I was like, Tom, I never even saw when you announced you got your. I knew you got it. You told us.
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't even in the Discord to see that announcement. You get to share it with people because I've just been like so going crazy with work. And it was so crazy I didn't even realize it, that like it wasn't even, usually I'm like, damn, I missed the Discord, I want to get in. It wasn't even until today I sat down where I was like, I really haven't even been to Discord in like 4 days. Like I don't know what's going on. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. That'll be a lot more fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me it's obviously interacting and just kind of enhancing the quality of what we do over here and growing the F35 brand. I know we've had the business.
And your wedding, bro. Come on. That should have been the first one.
For the show, bro. I don't think the show is part of the wedding over there. A
That's
live podcast from
it's a
Tommy's wedding. Yeah,
I'm gonna do it.
Live podcast from the wedding.
I'll do it. I'll live stream.
There you go. But no, I think for me, one of the main things is growing the F35 brand. Out there, we've had this business now for roughly, I think, over 6 months. But we haven't really got a lot of it going. So that we have some plans to get the financials and everything in order to really start to kind of grow this and take this in, whether it be through the subscriptions. There might be ads, there might be stuff like that, but there's going to be ways to support us in the future as well. And I'm excited for people who are also innovating in a space in other ways that we will be able to interact with that to kind of grow inside this Cardano community. Also, and the content creator side too, just growing our relationships with the people that we have out there and bringing more people in to kind of grow this little bubble of a community that we have. And then obviously enhancing our user experience with people that, the people in our Discord, like you said, the roles, game nights, fun. We've upgraded our equipment over here so we can actually have some fun streams. There's a lot of exciting things to do. And then obviously the partnerships with other projects and collabs and stuff like that we bring onto the show, guests and stuff like that are going to be a huge thing. And looking forward to CNFT Con 2023.
Oh, hell yeah.
For everybody out, and who knows what we'll be doing, booth, no booth, or just showing up, split booth maybe.
I would do a
share
booth. I would share a booth, but I don't want to park it there all the time.
I agree. So I don't think that'll be a thing. But yeah, there's so much to be excited for, I think, going into next year. And it's literally a build year for us. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know how like I said, how the hopefully we'll be able to keep up the consistency when it comes to the live stream podcast. But either way,
2 live streams a week, podcast.
Or just no podcast, live stream.
3 live streams a week, podcast.
We'll see what happens. You never know.
We'll mix it up for sure. I think that's a good idea.
Some gaming nights in there. For sure.
Not to be sarcastic, I think that is a good idea. We should mix it up, like live stream podcast or podcast every other week or something like that. Because I love the live streams. Not that I don't like the podcast.
It's not up to us. It's not for us. We got to talk to them, see what they think.
Yep. We need to get polls going.
Maybe
if people are
new intro, podcast, please. Let's make a poll for that.
TJ wants the new intro. Yeah, we'll see what happens on a new intro. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe every now and then. Getting into some Twitter Spaces over there. I've been doing that a little bit more recently on the main account. So you catch us more on that way. We'll see if I can get TJ and Tom in there.
I'm in there. I'm in there. I'm listening. I just can't ever talk.
I'm saying it's tough to commit to a time slot and stuff already with what we're doing. So, but I think maybe rotating, like you said, the week, that's an option 100% to do. Instead of recording on a Wednesday for a podcast, we could set up a Twitter stream, Twitter Space once a month or something like that.
Or if we start the podcast earlier, we could do both
and run it right into it. Boom. There you go.
Just Tommy's like, start doing the podcast 9 a.m.
Yeah, that'd be great.
There we go.
A morning
9 a.m.
podcast?
9 a.m. early in the morning. Fresher. Knock it out.
Or we just win the Powerball and then,
better odds.
Freedom 35.
That's what I'm planning on.
Better odds. Yeah.
But there's so much to look forward to. And I think we're all excited for where this can kind of go. I don't think any of us have really expected this to be where we're at. We got merch, we got t-shirts, merch will come out. That'll be a thing too.
We have merch, we have t-shirts.
It'll come out though. We're working on a way to get that to you guys, so that'll be a thing. There's a lot of ideas. We're going into planning mode next week, so enjoy the week off without us on the podcast. So
but still be a live stream.
There will be a live stream.
It's gonna be a banger of a show too. Just
you're
throwing
gonna
that out there.
Fucking tune in.
It's gonna be little quacktastic. That's all I'll say.
Oh, whoa. We haven't committed to that yet, TJ. We can't say anything. But Tom over here, I think this is a perfect way to go ahead and end the year with a plug from
wrapping up in the back end with Tom.
Okay, I've never done this, but I've been rehearsing in my head. So all right. You're watching the DJ and Travis show. Come follow us on MySpace and unsubscribe.